Hello humans, welcome back to SILKSONG. How are you guys all doing? I can say that I am happily, once I'm done with this, what I'm going to do next is just read the brain's not working actually. Is if I beat this boss fight within a good amount of time, I will then proceed to read all bestiaries and things like that because I think it's fun. But let's first try to beat this because who knows, this might take a lot longer than I think it will. And I'd be okay with that. I'm enjoying this fight. Okay, no, here. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I just, at that point I didn't really. This is a fun fight, but god is it stressful. But I now know, now that I know that there's confirmed a third phase, I will actively only go for I only use the droids in that phase. And I think it's justifiable. That feels like the phase that's harder to hit. And it means I'm not wasting them carelessly. I'm only wasting them in the final, what I hope is the final form. Perfect. Just to completely avoid that as much as possible. Oh my god, I love peering. I don't do it on purpose just because I know I'll muck it up a lot, so I just kind of avoid it. Heal time, heal. Okay. Whew. It would be so exciting if I get this super easily. I won't, mind you. I most likely will not. Yeah, I just, Ooh. Nope. I cannot poke off that. Okay, good to know. Okay. Damn it. Damn it. Oh, damn it. And I think I was close. Oh, damn it. Okay, so it's not, I don't use the droids when I get to the third phase, I use them when I'm gonna say fourth phase, which is when she starts to power up and do those crazy things. Because that must be close, it's just an issue of of hitting her, I think. It's like just harder to hit her during that. But I'm loving this fight, I'm okay if this fight takes hours. I didn't mean to do that. Out here because I did fool. Well, I don't know how sometimes. Okay, whoa. You're done. You're done. Oh damn. But I'm loving this fight. Like, I feel like I have so much more, like, opportunity that if you can read movements, that, like, you can actually, like, dodge and get a good amount of attacks in. Like, I feel really good about this, even if I, like, am getting absolutely thrashed since I started talking. Oh no, I'm fucked. Getting into the section at 2 health. I think I need to check something. If I go to this far end, does it get better? Easier. Okay, good to know. Okay, I can heal. Nice. If I can heal, I am in what I think is a good spot. And now run to the side. Okay, I can make it more consistent. That is great. Heal. And I don't want to... Oh, and now run across. Ah, nice. Oh. Oh my god. I didn't even notice her, I'll be honest here. Shit. I'm toast. Oh my god. Oh. Oh! Heal, 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 heal. Who knows if this is the end? This might not be. I die for you, life. I can please tell me she's still alive. Oh. Let's see. Super jump. Oh. I did do it. Is this it? No. It's him! Ah, oh my god! I love this ending, holy shit! So this means that the canon ending is the one where he, in the god home. Oh, it's beautiful. Of the void. Oh yeah, and Herald, I guess. Is this the Herald? I'm not taking screenshots of there. To be continued. Oh my god. Passing of the age. Oh man, I loved this game. It's such a cool game. Oh, and I'm so happy to get to appreciate it and have done it. I will probably stream more of this game when it's fully done. Like, I mean, when like DLC's in it. I need to check something quickly while these credits happen. Okay, I'm just making sure I did get shots of this. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have done that during credits, but I've seen the credits already, and I'm pretty sure I didn't skip them last time. I don't even know if you can. I don't even try, because I want to show the appreciation. But yeah, oh my god, we're done! This is just so cool. I will not be recording doing the speedrunning and the steel song. Because I want to enjoy my time with those ones, and I don't want to have the stress of knowing that people like I'm recording it. And I want to be able to just do it in my free time whenever the hell I want, and just do like small things. So this was my playthrough of SILKSONG. I hope you all enjoyed it. I have a little bit more to do after this, so once this is finished, I'm going to read through all the tools and then read through every bestiary entry. I'll do that in this one, just because then it'll also flesh out the video more and make it bigger. I don't want to have a 20-minute video being the end. Man, what a phenomenal game. It was worth the wait. I am so happy that I would have been so sad if it was anything less. They have upped what was in Hollow Knight, and I feel great. Through the darkness and dangers you preserve, thank you for exploring the world of Hollow Knight Silksong. Let's meet again on the road ahead. Game completion, baby! I have to, cut this time in half for the speedrunning achievement. It's gonna be fun, I think. Oh, no, I need to take the screenshot here too. This is cool. What's the extras? What stuff is there? Surface, Silk Zone, Fredo, Abyss. want to check if I do this. Yeah, I want it to be like this. This is where, so, where Hornet first met, Lace. Oh man. Fully done save. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of this. And I thought I'm really happy with how much I did without saving. The only thing that really upset me in the way of Googling was for Act 3, as it just felt ridiculous. But so I'll now read through all of these, and then once I'm done that, I'll probably stop for today. I'm probably going to take a little break from streaming. I'm going to be starting up study again, but I will be doing it on Saturday and Sundays, New Zealand time. Okay, Silk Spear, deadly weaver technique, throw the needle forward with force amplified by coiled silk. Thread Storm, deadly weaver technique, cast the needle in a whirlwind of silk around oneself, lashing foes. Cross Stitch, deflective technique of a creature spun from thread, bind silk around the needle to deflect enemy attacks and instantly strike back. Sharp Dart, deadly weaver techniques, pierce through enemies in a blur of blade and silk. Rune Rage, forgotten weaver technique, so rendering runes upon one's enemies. Pure Nails, technique taken from the primal source of silk, spin talons from thread that seek out enemies. Light throwing tools designed for rapid attacks. Flat layered weapons, straight pin line throwing tool designed for rapid attacks. Threefold pin, flat layered weapon crafted to be thrown in a set. Sting shard, lethal trap formed of tightly bound blades. I'm actually gonna do something because I see no reason not to. I'm gonna craft them all. I'm just gonna. I see no reason not to. That was so delayed, holy. And I'm going to. Do it, sorry. Those ones. So then tax. Short, short pins designed to be scattered along the ground. The sharp points will pierce any enemy who steps upon them. Long pin, weighted pin and haft formed to pierce through tough shell. Vertical sharp bone used by skilled hunters to take down dangerous prey. Oh wait, I don't need that one, that's already done. Throwing ring, hardened throwing weapon of the warrior Shakra. Blunt weapon, force weapon that rebounds between enemies and hard surfaces. Pin pillow, fabric pouch filled with volatile material, explodes on impact with enemies or when ignited by its fuse. Spiral weapon fashioned from a hardened court spire, thrown at an angle, it can ricochet and catch prey off guard. Silk Shot, ancient weapon of the Weavers, repaired and modified by Forged Order, uses shell canisters and the Weaver's own silk to fire. Delver's Drill, rotary tool used for boring into bone and rock, drives the wielder downwards while spinning the drill with destructive force. Expanding circular blade powered by a cogwork motor propels forward, slicing through foes. Winged clockwork companion that will seek nearby foes and attack. Repurposed mechanism for the base of Rosemary's stringed machine. Rosemary's must be inserted to reload the cannon. Wait, Vault vessels, convertible orbs containing electricity. The vessel can be thrown as a boa for an explosive charge or staked as a spear to release a column. Ooh, cool. Release a column of energy. Flint state, sharpening slate made from cut and polished flint gem. Temporarily superheats the needle's blade, imbuing each slash with flame and increasing lethality. Flea brew, innovating beverage prepared by the flea caravan, temporarily increases the speed and movement and attacks. Potassium vial. Spear pintle containing potassium. Injecting the liquid allows one to gain health beyond their natural limits. Druid's Eye, powerful amulet of protection formed from many moss berries. As the bearer takes damage, the amulet weeps a green elixir that will form into silk. Magma Bell, forged iron bell crafted to ward against the intense heat of the deep docks. Reduces the damage taken from flame and magma. Warding bell, holy bell inscribed with a hymn of protection, shields the bearer as they bind their wounds. Poppy pouch, pouch containing a fast-acting venom drawn from a flower's heart, applies venom to equipped tools. Fractured mask, old bug skull carved for protection, shields against critical damage but shatters on impact. If shattered, the mask will be repaired while resting at a bench. Multi-bender, elaborate etched weaver spindle, usable only by wielders of silk, extends the act of binding but increases its healing effect. I love that one. That one and the protection one are just my favorites. Weave light gleaming apparatus of weaver make. Its core emits a faint glow, increases the speed of silk regeneration. Cool. Sawtooth circlet, flexible belt of serrated metal teeth, able to affix it to the helm of a cloak. Flaring the cloak will spin the blades, damaging surrounding enemies. Injector band, brace of surgical pins from the white ward used to forcibly insert safety inside a bug shell, increases the speed of binding. Spool extender, silk storing tool of the Citadel, fashioned after an artifact of the weavers, allows a strong of additional silk beyond one's natural ability. Reserve bind, or an artifact of the Citadel, able to hold a bind's worth of silk, used when healing is needed and one's natural resources run low. The reserve bind will be restored when resting at a bench. Claw mirrors, twin theatrical tools of a vainglorious bug. When binding, emits a searing blast that damages surrounding enemies. Memory crystal, reflective stone with mimetic properties. When taking damage, a memory of the bearer is formed of crystal. The memory will shatter into shard spines if an enemy comes into contact. Snitch pick, hooked tool of the forceful retrieval of loot from bugs and husks. Harpoon into foes to steal rosaries and shell shards while causing additional damage. Vault filament, charged organ from a defeated vault room, can be coiled around thread, imbuing silk skills with electric charge. Quick sling, Tredoring mechanism built from reed and bone, intended for mounting on the limb of a bug. doubles the number of tools thrown. Okay. Fragile band woven of reed and leaf, crafted to repel muck maggots. If broken, the rope will repair while resting a bench. Long clawed talisman fashioned from the talon of a large predator increases the range of Nail's attack. Wisp fire lantern, broken iron lantern containing smoldering wisp fire. Wisps will spawn from the lantern and burn foes at the cost of silk. Egg of Flea, icon of the mythical moth flea passed down from caravan of old, a symbol of protection and kinship, decreases the cost of silk skills while health is full. Emblem of the Order of the Pinstress, the old Blade Master's Apallium, reduces charge time of needle strike. Let's go. Intricate tracking device carved from shell. When equipped, the bearer's location will be marked on their map. Shard pendant. Crude trinket worn by collectors and crafters allows one to collect more shell shards from defeated enemies. Magnite brooch. Holy stone inscribed with a prayer of rosemaries. Any loose beads will be pulled towards the weaver. Weighted belt. Heavy band favored by those with an unsteady step. The weaver will recoil less when striking foes and will not be flung as far when taking damage. Bard bracelet, vicious bracelet worn by those who believe they have not been duly punished. Increases damage taken, but also increases damage dealt by the needle. Deadbug's purse, disregarded purse of a fallen pilgrim, allows the bearer to retain some rosemaries upon death. Magnetite dice, playthings carved from magnetite material used in simple games and believed to bring luck to the bearer. Scattle brace, artificial spine that clasps tight around a shell, enhances the weaver's innate flexibility, allowing rapid retreat. Ascend's grip, gilded piton that allows one to hold in place while on a wall. Spider string, sophisticated weaver device resonates with music played to amplify an enchanter's performance. Expands this and strengthens the effects of a needling. Silk speed anklets, experimental anklets of a weaver make draws upon the weaver's own silk to increase sprinting speed. Thief's mark, symbol worn to identify oneself to fellow thieves. Gains extra rosaries from defeated enemies, but lose some rosaries on taking damage. Okay, so now that's done, and I think I've done all of them. Send into the bellway and defeat the hostile creature within. So that one's done. So now I have to go through 234. I'm quickly going to search how many things are in the SILKSONG in Hunter's Journal. See if I'm actually missing any. Let's look how many is there. $137. Wait, what? I'm only missing 2 because 2. Go down and look at the bottom. See what I've not got at the bottom quickly. Oh, sorry. I'm missing 2. I just kind of want to know those. I'm just gonna go through them and see if there's any. Apparently I can fight him in Chakra. Okay. Well, I can't do that anymore. Good to know though. So because it was probably the taunt, the challenge. I didn't know that I could do it until now. Well, that's unfortunate, but now I go to the top and read through all these, and I will read until I am done them all. So get ready, this is just going to be a yapping video, but it will be my last SILKSONG video, so I'm okay with it. I'll turn my mouse off because I don't need it anymore. Moss grub, fur-covered crawler with a series of sharp spikes along its back. If not for the spikes, I would think it an appealing bug. Massive moss grub. A naturally overgrown moss grub bred within the cell's memoriam. So close to a perfect furred form if only they'd be able to breed out the spines. I love Hornet. Mossmer. Small fluttering creature capable of defending itself with its small stinger. This bug is soft and clumsy, but to its fortune, its home caves seem relatively free of effective predators. I wonder why that is. Moss Mother, adult Mosmer with a fully developed stinger and hardened hide. Motherhood is an instinct that can push creatures beyond what seems their natural limits. It turns even weaker beasts like these into formidable foes. The Aconid, winged insect that feeds upon moss and lichen in the caves above Bone Bottom. In its natural state, it would avoid potential predators, but Parlum's haunting now compels it to aggression. Fortunately, its jaws are ill-suited for combat. Skull Scuttler. Small soft bug that uses the hard shells of the Morrow for protection and disguise. In every land, creatures find new and surprising ways to disguise themselves. One must be wary always. Skullwing. Airborne relative of the grounded skull scuttler, found only in Morrow's deepest, hottest caves. Such feeble creatures could only survive thanks to the rarity of predators in these superheated caverns. Skull Brute. Soft bug beneath a huge horned skull. Charges Andrews to protect its territory and its smaller companions. Either its size has made it fearless, or the haunting has removed its sense of self-preservation. Oh no. Skull Tyrant. Rare enormous skull scuttler, the Morrow's largest predator and the most feared for its ferocious temperament. Thought, though surely fierce, the skull it bears looks taken from an even larger beast. If not for the bones as proof, I would scarcely believe bugs could grow such scale. Agreed. Killick. Small bony bug that favors dark tunnels can expand its spiked carapace to ward against attacking predators. I am fond of simple, effective traps such as this bug's extendable spikes. An unwary predator would be skewed clean through. Beastfly. Aggressive fly of Parlum's lowlands rams prey with its hard-bone mask. Dancing around this simple creature as it charges back and forth is sort of a game I delighted in as a child. Alas, I now have more pressing matters to attend to. Savage Beastfly. Angered adult Beastfly with a weighty body and a thick and hard shell. Civilization encroaches from this kingdom's crown, but the lowlands are still ruled by great beasts. Its roar stirs something deep within me, some primal instincts. Caranid. Common winged bug of the lowlands, generally docile, but it will attack if threats come close. Their plump round shape makes them well suited for target practice. Difficult to resist testing my aim on them. Oh, Jesus Christ on it. Vicious Carnid. Aggressive winged bug of the lowlands. When angered, it rapidly whips its bladed tail as a weapon. Its wings are quite small compared to its bulk. Perhaps it uses the warm air of these fairy lands to help stay airborne. Clever if so. Hardbone Hopper. Grazing creature with sharp senses that nimbly retreats from danger. Despite the haunting of its shell, it has not been overcome with aggression. Its desire to flee remains too strong. Tall creatures with sharp senses defends its herd with powerful legs and sharp-tipped mask. There is surprising strength hidden in their thin, elegant limbs. It would be a pleasure to ride upon it. Sorry. Store of hay fever. because I'll have it for the rest of my life. Termite, flying bone mite that lives near magma, roasts its prey by splitting scorching tar. Its sticky spit would no doubt make a useful crafting material if molded fresh. Unfortunately, I cannot stop to experiment. Holy fuck. Morling, young bony bug that can crawl its body to form a bowl. Their rough, rigid shell grips tightly to any surface. Even walls and roofs become pathways for these nibble bugs. Marrowmore, giant roller of the lowlands. Its rigid hide will crush smaller creatures beneath it. Sheer bulk makes for an effective weapon, but requires much substance. This creature would have spent most of its time eating, an acceptable life for some. Hawker, spine-shooting drifter of the lowlands. Whatever admiration I had for its fleecy down is spoilt by its disturbing mask and its steely spines. Yeah. Flint beetle. Rarely seen beetle that spends most of its life nesting deep in bone and rock. The flintstones on its shell excretes an explosive powder. Its bright gems could be used to make beautiful but short-lived jewelry. Is an amusing idea for a gift or a trap. Yeah. Rhinogrand. Rhinogrand. Longhorned beast of Parloom's lowlands. Relies on its horn both to impale and to retch the ground beneath it flinging dangerous debris. Certain tools and skills can pierce its defenses. I should adjust my strategy as needed. Grumling. Young masked worm that delights in ambushing intruders within its tunnels. A frustrating friend, they flee beneath the bone whenever I try to strike them down. Grum. Burrowing worms that uses its many blunted teeth to dig through in even the hardened bone. They carelessly churn through rock and bone without even seeming to rest. Do they have a destination, or are they compelled to dig forever deeper? Always my beloved, such a cutie. Bell beast, huge hard bone bug that lives within and travels through the veins of old bells across Parloom. This one has allied themselves with me, either as thanks for their saving or respect for one judged as equal. Whatever the reason, their fellowship is welcome. Pilgrim Groveler, basic bug of Parloom laid low upon the ground. Taken by Parloom's haunting, the bug is now capable of little more than prayer and aggression. From a pouncer, agile bug of Parloom, its higher functions have been lost to the haunting. With a softer shell than most, they would have relied on their athleticism to survive. I don't know how to say it. Pilgrim Hornfly. Short pilgrim that uses their horn to launch upon threats. Birth equipped this one well. In its assault, it becomes its own projectile. Pilgrim Hulk, sturdy bug lost to the haunting, rolls at threats with no care for its own discomfort. A rare built bug within these ailing lands, most pilgrim shells seem small by comparison. What nourishment did they discover to grow so large? Pilgrim Bellbearer, common bug wielding a set of old bells. The bug will fling the bells at anyone it deems still free. Their bells would once have rung with hope and mirth, lifting the spirits of any climbing companions. Sadly, those instruments have turned purely to combative use. Winged pilgrim, short-horned bug born with underdeveloped wings. Flight it possesses, but only just. It may lift from the stone, but those sad wings would never carry it far. Elder pilgrim, thick-set bug consumed by haunting thread, uses their solid frame to crush others. A lucky bug to be able to grow old. Parloom's roads take much earlier. That is actually something to think about. Winged Parloom Bellbearer. Parloom endowed with large wing, carrying a brace of iron bells. In uneven terrain, the union of flight and range can prove a challenge even for me. Yeah, they're annoying. Pilgrim Hiker. Hard-shelled bug with a climber's pin. Their pin, once aid, has become a weapon, though the bug is unrefined in its use. A bug once frail, pushed by a twisted thread beyond its mortal limits. Pilgrim Guide. Old pilgrim carrying a heavy iron bell staff. The large bell seems to signify them as once leader of the climbing troop, though the haunting has erased that former authority. Overgrown pilgrim. Aged pilgrim overgrown by their lichen and moss. The moss looks to grow even inside their stomach, which the pilgrim spits at foes in compressed globs. A foul form of offence. Agreed. Caventus Covetos pilgrim. Strong bug repellent with rosaries. If angered, they will whip their strings in a ceaseless onslaught. Is this abundance a sign of purity or greed? The way faith is measured in this land is curious indeed. It's not wrong. Which one is it? Snitchfly. Perilous looter found all over Parloom. While these bothersome bugs are left free to forage, no loose rosemary or chicken is safe. Lava log. Sticky mollusk that defends itself by spraying burning fluid from growls on its back. What seems at first a purely defensive mechanism may also be necessary to rid this creature of excess heat. Fully grown mollusk able to unleash a gushing torrent of burning fluid from its back to survive while storing so much searing fluid within. Before I would have believed it impossible, but Parloom is home to many marvels. Smolter Shoveler. Low-level worker lost to Parloom's haunting. Instinct keeps them at their task, though in much simpler fashion than before. This kingdom appears more advanced in metalwork than my own ever was, in great part due to its natural heat source as its base. Working in such an environment is an impressive feat. Flintstone Flyer. Aerial worker lost to Parloom's haunting bears a pouch full with flintstone which they will fling at intruders. That incendiary material they carry is a natural wonder with many potential applications. What a waste to carelessly throw it at me whenever I pass by. Flint Flame Flyer. Brave worker carrying unstable flint flame and wearing a heavy bell to protect against potential ignition. Theirs would be a high-risk life followed by a short shearing end. Yeah. Smoker Sifter. Cumble-bearing worker of the deep docks pans the halls of smother rocks to find traces of more precious minerals. The haunting has stolen some important part of these bugs, yet still they attempt their former task, until that is, they sense my presence. Interesting. Deep diver. Bell-clad bug responsible for mining the deeper treacherous depths below their docks. Their heavier bell armor them well against my strikes, but against that oppressive heat can they help at all? The four brothers, singers and groan. Elder overseers of deep docks, responsible for the oversight and punishment of lesser workers. Lost in the madness of haunting, they still commanded the endless excavation of their caves. Draglite. Infant form of the more formidable crow. If left to grow, these young bugs will fight for dominance until only one remains. Cragler, thick-played scalar that prefers high places, holds an extensive supply of searing acid in a layered sac within its shell. The acid rains from its mouth upon any creature it sees as food. Bushflit, tiny, timid creatures that huddle in flocks and flee at the first hint of danger. They call out to warn their fellows at the smallest sense of threat. A successful hunt here means staying silent and hidden right up until the decisive strike. Furted, skittish scrambler of the far fields. Its antennae resembles stalks of grass to aid in camouflage. It has no means to defend itself. Its only hope for survival is to be mistaken for a plant. Yeah. Flapping fruited. Docile bug whose wings mimic the grasses of the far fields, a common snack for larger predators. When roosting, it would look conveniently plant-like. In flight, its boisterous body quickly ruins the roost. Yeah. Fourth chorus, towering iron automaton. Automaton, I'm just gonna say that. Driven by rotors and cogs. A terrifying achievement of Harlem to build a construct so large and yet so nimble. Never mind. Salad, small burrowing ant, servant to the largest Sar. These bugs work mainly as finders and foragers for the warriors of their tribe. Combat has not long been their nature. Sowing, darting predator that clings fast to roofs and outcrops, often summoned to aid its larger companions. They would make effective hunting companions, though even without the haunting, I suspect their loyalty would always remain to their clan. Sarek Scout, young ant hunter wielding sickles carved from teeth, will often call for aid if danger comes close. Despite their youth, they are impressive opponents. It seems likely their tribe were trained for combat from birth. Stalker, skilled ant hunter bearing blade and armor fashioned from bone. Fierce, strong, and disciplined, yet these qualities do not protect them from the haunting. Is such a fate inevitable in these lands? Spear shark, winged ant hunter that strikes from the air with its bone lace. In my youth, I envied all bugs with wings. I even fancied I might grow a pair. I have since learned better, accept the limitations of one's bodies, and armor with tools as needed. Understandable envy. Sacred Guard, huge ant hunter tasked to protect the stores and passages of its tribe. Theirs is the perfect self of their duty, a wall of a warrior and an inept fighter. If I hope to claim their treasures, I must bring my best. Yeah. Guru the Outcast, huge yet stealthy Sark, an expert trapper and master of the undergrowth. His tricks and traps, it should have been obvious from the start. This old hunter sought to draw me in, but what reason drove him to test himself so brutally? That answer I suspect I shall never know. Yeah, we killed him, so we would not. Last claw, elite former hunter acting as the final line of defense before their mother. Their skill once saw them chosen, and I can plainly see why. They would have lived and trained only for this duty. Sark singer Kama, song queen of the Sakar, and their most talented warrior. This graceful ruler once possessed skill to rival my own. At her useful peak, her voice united all Sakura in her service. Might. Yeah, I love going from the cool queen, music queen to rat. Might. Verminous pest, common throughout the dark corners of Greymore. Individually they offer little challenge, but their numbers are surely vast and most remain hidden. Airborne pest, less common than its grounded siblings, attacks with sharp fangs if agitated. Similar bugs would gnaw away at unguarded food supplies in my homeland. As a child, I would hunt them, eager to make use of myself and test my skills. Mite mother, aged female mite grown larger and stronger than most of its kin. Poor of sight but possessing a keen sense of smell, it uses its bulk to charge it. For in sense, remaining fierce so far into old age is an admirable trait. Dredge catcher. Bug charge to catch dredges of silk that falls from the citadel. Will attack with its staff if provoked. These bugs look to have spent every waking moment at their work. Grim endless labor in service of an unseen citadel above. Silk snipper. Scissor wielding bug charged to cut and spool fallen dredges of silk for return to the citadel above. Is it the haunting that drove them to Cackling Madness, or was their unending toll the cause even before that? Third Raker. Tall bugs charge to pile silk dredges in preparation for respawning. Their sharp rake now doubles equally well as a stabbing weapon. Theirs seems a sad, grueling task, serving their lifetime for a citadel unseen. Yeah, it's pretty fucked. Moorwing. Winged might beast bred large to catch workers who once tried to flee their tasks. Oh my god. With its wigglers wranglers long dead, the Moorwing stalked the towers of Greymoor, feasting on passing pilgrims and tenders alike. Wisp, short-lived sprite born of flickering flame. To live only a single bright moment, what would one feel? Is it glorious or only despair, or could it be both, mixed equal? Burning bug, many-legged insect, frantically obsessed with flame. These ones somehow learnt to call and guide the scourging wisps that share their thicket. Whether through dominance or reverence, it's unclear. Father of the flame, totem and god built and worshipped by the burning bugs. The remaining of an aged bug were housed at the fire's heart. The structure suggests they wished for immortalization. If so, I have seen their wish granted. Pro, screeching scavenger that roosts high in caverns and preys on passing pilgrims. By the swooping menace, a simple bug could be easily overcome. More dangerous still, they rarely attack alone. Taller crow, rag-winged adult craw bug bearing a scavenged pain. Far more hostile than their younger companions, but seemingly less likely to roam far from their nest. Squat craw. Craw adult crawling bug bearing several sword pins. A cowardly short, they will try to remain at range to throw their sharp weapons. Best to rush them down and cut quick. Yep. Kujur, screeching scavenger died black in mourning at their land's collapse. Weak, afraid, and aware of imminent end. I understand their desperation, but my death will not prevent their coming fall. Elder Korbug serving in a sacred ceremony. Yeah. Curiosity saw me answer their summons, but I shall not allow them to stall me long. I must work fast to fix my grand mistake. Squat Crow Juror. Short elder Krillbug eagerly serving in their court, they seek to slay their only chance at survival. Alas, any words would fall useless. I have only my blade to offer in response. Yet, Cruel Father, Lord of Justice of Parloom's Cruels, delivers death to condemned bugs with his steel-plated beak. Did he recognize my part played in this land's void-stirring state? If so, perhaps his judgment was not unfair. To these bugs I have brought much destruction. Agreed. I respect him if he knows that. Muck Maggot, mindless infant larva coated in thick slime. They cling fast to the shells of other bugs, destroying any hope of concentration or comfort. Slubberlug. Younger form of a maggot roach, attacks prey by leaping from the water and snapping with its flexible jaw. These creatures look to have been bred deliberately in watery pens. If they are food to be, their scent suggests they must taste vile. Yeah. Muckroach, starved pack bug with an insatiable appetite. Despite their tough hide and pungent meat, roaches breed rapidly, so are sometimes farmed for food. A revolting creature, my soul itches at their presence. In the pens where their numbers grow vast, I am forever on edge. Yeah. Bloat roach. Obese offshoot of muckroaches born of the citadel's exhaust smog. The winged roach's sagging stomach is filled with slithering bile. Its form is absurd. Surely it should not be able to hold itself in the air. The noxious gases in its stomach must provide its levelity. Roachcatcher, short, nimble bug who uses barred bolus to keep beasts corralled and caged. Their throwing weapon is well suited to the wide caverns they inhabit. These sly little bugs must have a keen claw for crafting. Roach feeder. Tall roach tender charged to feed microaches on a lean diet of maggot gruel. The feeder's curled pin looks designed to keep roaches at bay and the tender from turning into the meal. Roach keeper. Grizzled older roach tender weighted with a lasso of heavy chain. Though their mind is largely lost, their skills with a chain has not been forgotten. Does the haunting eternally bind a bug to the task it had in life? Roach server. Brutish cook responsible for dicing microach meat into eatable portions. Could their actions be called skill? I see only crude mangling of meat, yet I wonder before the haunting snared their minds, was it any different? Might not have been. Disgraced Chief Lugoli. Once exiled chef exiled from the Citadel for repeated culinary crimes. Returned to their home caves, the chef continued to devise delicacies too repulsive for any bug still sane. Wraith, anguished spectre of lingering thread. Despite its eternal nature, strong strikes can dispel the wraith for a time. Not a bug, but a projection of another's will, cast in smog and silk. Moth leaf lagnia. A rare karma bug of bile water survives its hazardous surroundings by hiding as a plant. This one is pretty, but not as soft as first it seems. The plant it mimics is flaked and coarse, and the bug's coat shares similar texture. Boo. Mermite, crawling insect with a sizzling bile sac in its abdomen. The threat of its exploding rear is an effective deterrent to predators, but the slightest jolt or fall can cause its premature end. Swamp squid, plentiful pest with a sharp proboscis and a belly full of bile. More dangerous in the moment of its explosive and corrosive death than it ever was in life. Yeah. Hovering pest with spit squid. Hovering pest with a hollowed proboscis, able to spit globs of sizzling bile. To subsist on the sickly water in this fitted environment, it spits out the most toxic elements. Over generations, this former survival technique has turned into an effective hunting tool, which is crazy. Silken, cunning bug that hunts with darts fashioned from steak and bile. They know well their domain, lurking in wait in its byways, the bogs always ready to pounce. Silken trapper. Trapper setting bug carrying a pouch of sharpened long stakes. More bother than the bug themselves are the countless traps they have already laid throughout their caves. Yeah. Girl the Great, chief and chaplain of the Sane, forever raging against the citadel that chokes their caves and sees them suffer. This one's sink was much enhanced by Stolen Soul. They are not the first to try to hoard it or to mold it towards such violent ends. Barnack, toothy growth that lives on cave roofs, wraps wayward bugs with its long tongue and drags them up to be consumed, hiding its tongue amongst fronds so similar. There is an impressive style to this one's trickery. Duck sucker, suction creatures surviving on the thick slime that coat the cave. This mindless bug seems to sense only through its tendrils, yet despite that simplicity, it still poses a serious threat. Pond skipper, hard-shelled insect common upon the surface of Shellwood Pond, wants a stable food for passing pilgrims. The way they skate along the water surface is so elegant, surely it is a skill that can be learned. When time permits, I should attempt to the task. That would be fun. Pond catcher, old catcher over Shellwood Pond bearing a long pin and striken by the haunting. Once a hunter purely for food, now they hunt unthinking and unending. Shellwood Gnat, tiny soft creature that armors itself using the hard hollow growths of Shellwood. If the woody hide is shattered, the bug will still barely foolishly try to attack. Yeah. Wood wasp, pointed, darting insect that builds a hardy hive from Sherwood's dry bark. Destroying the hives will limit their presence in the wood, useful to me now as I pass along the branches. Dangerous in time for the wood's order, even a small disruption can tip a fragile balance. Splinter. Wait, is it really splinter? Oh, it's okay. Insect formed to imitate a branch, capable of remaining perfectly still for long periods, but unexpectedly swift when roused. Avoiding their ambush is a good test of my senses and my ability to rapidly retaliate. Splinterhorn. Insect formed to imitate a branch born with sharp, retractable horns atop its head. Its shell gives it the advantage of surprise, but also forces it into a slender, brittle shape that cannot withstand a heavy attack. Splinterbark. Winged insect with a flaky shell that perfectly mimics its environment. Its assault, like a young bug's toy turned deadly. Could I, in time, fashion a spinning tool to match? Sister Splinter, imposing odd insect nesting in the heights of Sherwood, her command of twig and branch ensures no pilgrim ever survived within her territory. This one lived long and fed much. The wood would be much safer for this laying. Pachyia, drifting bug disguised as a flower, disperses crackling clouds of pollen if threatened. Quite a beautiful creature. If my own kingdom's court, in my own kingdom's court, it would have been highly favored as an ornamental pet. Yeah. Pollinica, feral foe that reacts instinctively to movement nearby, spits pellets of crackling pollen that bursts on impact. What exceptional senses it possesses. It detects me with ease even when not a single sound is made. Gala, feral foe with a core shape to mimic a mask. The core can be thrusted forth to bludgeon unwary bugs. The false mask alone is frightening enough to scare away smaller pests. Shrine Guardian Seth, eternal defender of Sherwood Shrine. His pin and pseudo show a symbol. I just think it's a shield. Show many marks of their use. He offered fair warning and a challenge. A duel in the pure sense. I admire his honor and his skill. Yeah. Nilith, ancient heart of Sherwood connected to all its living things. Her presence would once have maintained the wood's fragile order, allowing the safe passage of bugs across its branches. Oh, so she was a good person. Oh, I feel bad now. From burrow that nests in the Belvin and seeks out hard bells to protect its soft body. I would very much like to feel their soft fur if only they weren't so hostile. She likes fluffy things. I think that's becoming quite clear. Wings firm, furred bow beneath a heavy belt. It has grown too large to burrow, but it's in maturing has developed small wings. Huge and soft, a fantastic combination ruined by their haunted aggression. Aww. Pallid, small arachnid found in many crevices and caves throughout Parloam. Something in their assault reminds me of my own skill, though their talents are born purely of instinct. My technique is formed from hard training. Pallid driver, arachnid that nests within dark holes and cavern roofs, pounces on prey from far above. A smart hunter learns to wait long in ambush, always ready to strike the first blow. Shallid, devious ambusher that poses as a fossil. Once roused, the bug will crash its steely shell into walls, floors, and foes. Sand Curves, shell-plated worm that lives beneath pools of shifting sands. Bursts forth at movement sensed close, and it will consume any object or bug careless enough to fall into its maw. Squirm, wriggling young grub that lives in darkness. If allowed the opportunity, these creatures will grow into a form larger and more oppressive. Judge, gilded guardian of the blasted steppes bearing a symbol A serval and mallet. They remorselessly eliminate any pilgrim or passerby deemed impure to their sight. The countless husks strewn on paths beside them tell of their conclusive decisions. Last judge, final arbiter of the blasted steps, tasked to ensure only the sinless ever step beyond the grand gate. The huge judge likely stood through countless generations, never defeated, never wavering in their charge. Coral firm. Dark-furred bug protecting itself with a spiked coral nut. Its fur is thick and silky, sadly lost to its haunting. I shall never safely be able to touch it. I feel bad for Onit. I wish she could get to pet anything. She probably will. Like, once she cured the kingdom, she would have probably gone through and pet everything. Nesting creature that fuses its face with sharpened coral, it is easy to be caught off guard by the ricocheting trajectory of its fling mask, especially in tight corners. During the large male driz, ferocious and territorial, fires its heavy coral mask at intruders. A fine shot with its sharp mask. Aggression has no ill effect on its aim. Pokennibbon. Drifting creature with a wide coral mask and hard proboscis to stab its prey. Passively waits for prey to blunder into its path, a technique that should not necessarily be derided. Whatever is effective is best. Man, how long am I going to be reading? Oh, my voice is going to be so fucked after this. Conkfly, small bug that crafts a shell of sharpened coral, spins its shell at rapid speed to cut through crust and bone. The way it darts in and out of the ground has an almost playful quality to it, an amusing and effective way to ambush prey. Great Coachfly, elder Coachfly crowned with a huge coral horn. Once partnered with a mate, they will rarely be seen alone. To pair with another is a base instinct and one that brings some bugs great joy. I once sought similar union, but of my own mates none could match my lifespan. That is so sad. So she has had lovers and they all died. Crushed crawler, soft-shelled scrambler encased in coral. Hidden among the tower's matching crust, these smaller bugs would have survived and thrived. Grasscrag, coral hulk with a dent shell, bred to immense size by the coral's memoriam. Nature distorted this bug was born tiny and mild. The citadel deformed it in futile hope it may sustain. Which is fake. Kai, plump, plentiful drifter of the Coral Pass. They once teemed around their tower in numbers immense. It is a rare chance to witness such a bountiful display of life. Spinebeak, a steel-horned floater able to defend itself and its companions. A critical member of the larger flock. Without them present, the Kai would be fast driven to extinction by larger prey. Steel spine Kai, toughened Kai capable of extending spikes from within its shell sac. Seeming soft, but hiding a sharp surprise, any larger predator attempting a bite would learn a pointed and painful lesson. Yuma, glamorous coil drifter of simple mind and placid demeanor. A creature at its most basic, this one is no threat to me or any other. Yumamana, Yumamama. Larger glamorous drifter chases away threats by hurling its body around. When defeated, it splits into many smaller forms, yet another remarkable creature of this land before the monarch. Karatkar, staunched and skilled blade bug of once flourishing land lost to time. The core member of a powerful order, trained fearless and faithful. Theirs was a kingdom of warriors once built upon their blades. Carrick. Lethal-winged scouts frequently paired with their heavier brethren. Its training resembles my own, favoring fast strikes and rapid movements. Want a hunter, perhaps? Yago. Wide-mast aerial attackers trained to act as support for the grounded companions while remaining at range. Not a frontline force, but in my assault upon their tower, all emerged to see me stilled. Karakor, heavy, hard-shelled charger relying on weight and strength, far tougher for being matched inside their encrusted domain. They must have lived their whole life within their tower to command it so. Leaping hunter of a bygone age, the swiftest of their sect, definitely skilled with spinning four blades. In contests of speed against strength, I have seen the swift more often triumphant, a lesson I have taken in my own heart. Chrysaor, overgrown elder, able to spawn burning bubbles from within its coral-cased shell. This bug's fashion with the crust growth, it seems intentional, though I imagine the union is far from comfortable. Yeah. Crustkinker, hardened warrior lord of a bygone age, able to command the coral crust to his bidding. For his stern stewardship, his legion seemed utterly loyal. For less competitive bugs, he would have been a hard rule. Yeah. Watcher at the edge. Old warrior guarding the border of their domain, stiffened by time and awoken by song. They held long at their vigil, far beyond the age of their brethren. Yet still, when roused, they swung their blade with remarkable ease. Yeah. Boltworm. Coiled nest of charged worms assaults intruders with bolts of crackling energy. Barely a bug and possessing only basic thought, yet instinct alone proved enough to turn it deadly. Yeah. Drapefly, erratic flying pest that nests in rags and curtains. Like fabric somehow spun to life, its pelt is perfectly matched to the rags it infests. Drape Lord, elder drapefly grown big from age and consumption. Its heavy body allows it to hit much harder than its younger companions. Greed will always see some bugs swell above their kin. Yeah. Drape Mite, cloth-covered crawler with shapened forelimbs, lives and breeds in dark places. Parloom structure seems almost built for them. The endless corners and cracks so perfect for mites to burrow and nest. Giant Drape Mite, full-size mite of the citadel cloaked in an old curtain. That's funny. For few creatures of that silk-stricken place would find nourishment enough to grow so large. Underworker, feeble servant of the underworks with a long twist pin and hard shell. With all the refuse collapsing throughout their domain, the worker's stiff shell would be essential if they held any hope to survive. Underscrub, drained yet dedicated laborer wielding a coarse steel brush that they ever hoped to keep their domain clean. What futility. Underswept uses their steel bristled pin to scrub the soot from vents and pipes. Their sharp cleaning implement is as filthy as the rest of the place. They only layer grime on grime. Underpoke, that's a funny name. Drained worker on the verge of collapse, consumed by the haunting, they continue to work far beyond their mortal limits. They toiled incessantly for the citadel, their shell bent in grade, and now the kingdom's curse means not even death can relieve them. Underloft, exhausted bug, grown sickly from the smog of the underworks. The workers' twistpin, once tools of repair, now serve as spun projectiles. The cost of so much grandeur. Did I peer closely enough into the foundations of my own kingdom? Oh. Undercrank, heavy, hard-shelled worker forever repairing the citadel's crumbling underworks. There seems no ranks in their domain, yet this one has risen above the rest, a station likely gained through intimidation and thuggery. Oh. Envoy, guide and oft times leader within the citadel's choir. Bugs like these cross the caves to bring me to Parloom. I cut down many before my capture, then I had thought them minded and cunning. Now I can see the singular will that haunts them all. Choir Pouncer, agile bug and one of the few hardly pilgrims to have reached the citadel. Once one of the Parloom's favoured bugs, and yet their domain and their shells would have been the first to fall to the haunting. Choir Hornhead, fully grown former pilgrim serving the citadel. Did this one grow large thanks to the cell's excess, or was it for its familial size the reason it ever survived to reach this place? Yeah, would be hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure it would be big beforehand because I've encountered them in the wild. It sounds so bad for people. Quiet Bellbearer, Winged devout of the citadel carrying a brace of gilded bells, Parloon proves often the effectiveness of bells as weapons never before had I considered them as such. Yeah. Cryflyer, aerial bugger for unarmed but for its short arm or horn. For this bug to have survived Parloom's climb, it must have teamed with stouter companions. I cannot imagine it succeeding alone. Choir Elder, aged former pilgrim, uses their wings to position above threats and crush them under their large shell. Time allowed their shell to grow thick, all the better for battering their target. Choir Saw, disciple of the choir elevated above other pilgrims and forced to carol their face forevermore. Their use of a pin shows hard training. Their use of silk unfurled from a spool held close shows skill far beyond standard bugs. Reed, disciple of the choir, charged to maintain its perfect order by sharp pin if necessary. A form more suited for combat, lethal and lethe is it lethal and fast? No surprise it seems to rank so high among its cult. Yeah, cult is the right word. Grand Reed. High standing insect of the choir bearing a bow. This elite reed has been trained and fed beyond its smaller fellows. This bug bears a spool of silk which they flail to attack. Though somewhat crude, theirs is a technique much reminiscent of weavers. I wonder who taught them such use. Choir Clapper, mighty, persuasive disciple of the choir wielding a mallet and a silk spool to wrap and enhance their attack. There is no finesse in its use of silk, it consumes its slim supply only to amplify its force. Claw Maiden, puppet servant of the citadel suspended on the strings of silk, an early form of automation, requiring extensive silk to maintain its service. If given a chance, this one will steal silk from any significant source, including my own shell. Memoria, learned disciple of the choir charged to maintain the citadel's memoriam. From the outset, theirs was a hopeless task. Those wild lands could never be replicated within a space so artificial. Minister, gold ranked disciple of the choir and a direct servant of the cell's conductors. The lethality of these bugs is unexpected. Their bodies were never built for combat. The haunting has altered their nature dramatically. Maestro, choir commander of the High Halls, able to summon and command cogflies at the flick of their baton. Once they summon song from their subjects, now they rise only command an end to those unstrung. Second Sentinel, Clockwork Knight of Parloon, once protector of its pilgrims and master of the scissor blade. The talent and intelligence of this construct goes far beyond others I have witnessed. They seem less built as a tool to serve than an attempt at life itself. Oh, okay. Okay, continue. Drighusk, remains of the citadel bug possessed by silk dredges. Thus will lash out wildly with the many sharp pins caught inside its thread. How long have I been talking? Oh, it's been over an hour. Wow. There is old anguish bound upon these threads, the result of countless cruel procedures. I am definitely on mic. Yeah. Okay. Dredge wheel. Shell of a small bug possessed by silk dredges. The husk will stretch its silk to form a crude crushing wheel. Living silk commanding a dead shell, an affront to nature and one all too common across Parloon. Yeah. Surgeon. Cruel physician of Whitewood responsible for operating and modifying on the cells bugs. Their procedures with silk may have prolonged life within the citadel, but they unknowingly gifted many minds to the monarch. That's tragic. Mortician, altered servant of Citadel's Whitewood, responsible for the cremation of husks and the recycling of silk from their shells. It lies low to the ground, perhaps out of reverence for its task, but can spring up suddenly to attack. Its sheer makes for a deadly weapon with surprising reach. The unrivaled, tormented will of countless husks made manifest in a pit of silk dredges. The souls of so many bugs obsessed with silk consumed by it, their pain shall forever remain in that pit. Even I do not possess strength enough to cleanse it. That is tragic, because they'll even stay after the silk is done with, I think. Cogwork. Underfly. Small automaton built to work without complaint in the scorching heat of the Underworks cauldron. It is no wonder these constructs were cast. No mortal bug would last long inside the scorching place. Even my shell struggles to withstand its heat. Cogwork Hauler. Small automaton with a shielded shell intended to carry loads of dangerous flint flame. Born and built only to work until time stiffens its limbs. Perhaps it is mercy this construct knows nothing of freedom, the freedom it lacks. Cogwork Crawler. Automaton built in the shape of a scuttling bug. Its back contains retractable pins intended to cut song cylinders free of any obstruction. Oh, that's cool. Its form is certainly based on bugs found outside the Citadel. In my own craftwork, I too often look to nature for inspiration. Cogworker, flight automaton responsible for repairing and extending the core. More effective in an opponent than would be guessed, the precarity of its winding domain can make it even its simple assault a challenge. Cogwork Spike. Spherical winged automaton housing many sharp spikes. I cannot decipher its function to the greater core. Is it built for defense? If so, its passivity seems far from optimal. Yeah, what is that for? Was that just they wanted it in the game and they couldn't figure out a reason? So like strange. Let's just say it was strange. Cogwork Wire Bug. Bug forged of iron, rotor, and cog, the automaton works tirelessly to maintain the core that houses it. Its core is filled with fine mechanisms, but they alone should not produce such a convincing mimic of life. Silk must also be used to emanate this though exactly how I am not sure. I found out about this. They use souls, the souls of the bugs. They extract them and put them in these. Cogwork Cleanser. Steam shooting automaton forged to clean the cogwork core and keep it free from infestation. An inspired use of steam, I must remember its construction when designing future tools. Cogwork Defender. Cogwork constructs forged primarily for the core's protection, bears a shield and a poke pin, and possesses a lethal understanding of their use. It is no true mind and yet fights effectively, adjusting its strategy to my movements. Where exactly are its thoughts written? Cogwork Clapper. Rare automaton intended to perform the ringing of bells and cymbals in the depths of the core. I have not yet seen the bell this automaton is designed to ring, nor do I ever wish to hear it. Such a clamour would not, no doubt, be unpleasant to experience. Clockwork Dancers. Automatons of imperial construction welcoming entrance to their chamber with a display of deadly dance. Two cogwork bugs, and yet the soul seems singularity, a sad yet masterful imitation of light imbued inside the shell's iron. So yeah, because it's only one guy who made it, because the Great Prince was in jail. Vault Born. Young apostolate raised in the darkest vaults, destined to ascend to the rank of scroll reader. In entering their domain, I freed these bugs to infest the greater vaults. They are a nuisance, and I have only myself to blame. I don't know when I freed them. When did I free them? Lamp Bearer, disciple of the Whispering Vaults, tasked to navigate its dim recesses to revive old scrolls, an essential bug if one ever hopes to navigate the dark maze of stacks and scrolls. Scroll Reader, gilded servant of the Whispering Vaults, born to read and recall the endless scrolls of prayers. Did they ever truly understand those inscribable scrolls, or is it all merely pretense, an endless act to maintain their orders station within the Citadel? Vault Keeper, High Castle bug responsible for delivering sermons and leading prayers for those beyond the walls of the Whispering Vault. Most likely this one's true charge was to root out and condemn those not seen as sufficiently fervent. Dobro, haughty, those been convinced that only dazzling performance can raise Parloom from the throes of death. His desire to see Parloom saved may have been well intentioned, but he seemed quite happy for others to die upon the stage in pursuit of his goals. Tormented Dobro, Depressed and consumed by the melancholy of the collapsing world, this one chose to embrace the doom to come. I shall not share such easy surrender. Yeah. Okay, we're into slap. We're getting near the end of this, I hope. Permanent. Humbled prisoner serving their sentence for sin committed within the citadel. All are haunted here, the jailers and the jailed. Do they realize they will never leave this place, or how long they have stayed already? Puny Brent, small bug shackled and cowed for sin committed within citadel. Their thick shroud leaves them sightless, yet it seems to matter little. They have no care for their own safety, wishing only to charge at those they sense as sinful. Fresh fly. Infant fly freshly hatched at this age, the soft blind fly is little more than a bother. The less these gruesome bugs breed, the better. Scab fly. Sticky young fly born and grown in service to the slab. Foul creatures birthed into servitude, their plight itched no sympathy for me. Gadfly, starved servant of the slab bearing a hooked long pin. The smell from these jailers overwhelm my senses. I strongly doubt they have ever thought to bathe. Yeah. Warden fly, heavy, hairy jailer responsible for capturing sinners and punishing prisoners. Disgusting both in manner and stench, I feel no remorse to see them felled. Broodmother, mad monarch of the slab, rarely seen outside her warren. From all her jailers are born and bred. With this one vanquished, I hope to have sped the end of that jail and its distasteful order. I am sad to say, no, they had a kid, and we didn't kill him for some reason. Driftlin, gentle glider of Mount Fay, its dry wings and core allow it to resist even the most cutting cold. This one would make a perfect pet, but for the freezing temperatures it requires for comfort. Muron, flighted creature formed from cold shard. If shattered, it will quickly reform. The cold shard, even when destroyed, it remembers its former shape, a remarkable material, and perhaps even more astonishing, there seems life contained within it. Memorial, huge flighted creature formed from cold shard. This larger form carries so much weight it can barely move from its place. Seven Enneagram, small construct built by weavers past, brought to life through silk runes threaded within. Though the weavers have long passed from Palum, the servant still performs its function. Seven Aborum, broken construct built by weavers past, able to fire a focused beam of silk light to curve halls and chambers through ice and bone. The servant has been heavily damaged by time and the elements. Its actions have grown erratic. It seems no longer able to discern friend from foe. Winged life seed, mindless sac filled with potassium. When broken, the potassium can be consumed. Its temporary beneficial. Mayuki can resist the darker deformations of the substance, but even I have limits. Don't worry, I will never force you to use that shit, unless it was only two. Mutated young worm infected with potassium, the new form displays potential regenerative skills. Palum shall quickly learn the curse of the substance. What benefits it provides can be swiftly outweighed. Plasmodium, large worm mutated heavily by potassium. This creature has become fused to the roof of its cave, no longer able to move freely. In my home caves, when once this substance was allowed to flourish, I saw similar aberrations. This is wonder tainted strong with revulsion. Potassium Zego. Husk of the alchemist's assistant granted false life by potassium. He carelessly seeded these caves with the cursed substance. His final fate seemed fair reward for those efforts, yet I feel some sympathy. It is an alluring power. Okay, leaf glider, fine-winged flyer that survives in flocks. So light they can rest atop still water surface, an elegant bug indeed. Leaf roller, pointed scrub, posing as plant life, simple, graceful, another fine bug lost forever from these lands. Flightly insect that lives beside still waters, though generally passive, their sharp masks can cause injury if carelessly blundered into. Pendragor, heavy insect that lives near large bodies of water. Its weighty body is best avoided. When they do not hinder my path, I find their simple motion rather pleasant. Yeah. No, for a predatory plant with a powerful jaws shaped to resemble a lily pad. A snapping surprise on first encounter, though one easily avoided once aware. Cover stag. Placid native of its hide of Verdina. Its hide closely mimics the flora of its territory, an impressive act of mimicry to match so closely with its land. Their clover caves must have sustained through generations uncounted. Pale stag, fabled firstgoers of hers wild, commanded the grass and leaves to aid its attack. Myth made real in memory, the creature seemed completely at one with the flora around it. Did it ever truly exist as I have seen it? Kinea, child of Ur, fully capable of to fight despite its young age, fierce and fast and defending their lands even from birth. These are children to be proud of. Darting warriors with sharpened forelimbs and heightened senses, they rarely relax, always alert for potential danger, even deep in their own territory. To defeat them, my focus must match their own. Iskaran, blindingly fast winged warriors able to launch pointed pennons from its forelimbs. Born with many tools I would once have desired for myself. Fortunately, I have trained hard around those limits. Yeah, you make your own. Clover dancers. Jewel princes of Oldver, beloved by their subjects for their grace and for the ballot of death they delivered upon outsiders. For one to love another so similar to themselves, is that selfless or vain? Agreed, it's actually a fair point. Shadow Creeper. Shell-plated worm found only in the deepest depths, seems to survive despite consuming no food or liquid. A creature long familiar to me, I suspect that no matter how far I travel, if I descend deep enough, they will always be there. Yeah, so Charger, bulky worm of the deepest depths, lives in tight crevices and uses its weighty body to batter. These ones grow large, yet I have never observed them eating or sleeping. They seem such simple bugs, but I suspect they are not truly our cousins. Um, Gloomsack, tiny, empty creatures, barely a bug, swallows its prey whole and sucks their nutrients until nothing remains. This one disturbs me. There is something in its simplicity. Do I feel fear? Gur Gloom, enormous tumbler beast uniquely suited to live close to the void below. Amazingly, the creature carries the void's black liquid in its stomach, violently spraying it forth if threatened. Void tendrils, lashing fragments of pure darkness shaped into sharpened tentacles. The void that will claim all things. In the barred forms it chooses, its nature can be seen clear. Okay, we're getting near the end. Hooray. Void mass, dense knot of husks bound tightly by void sword silk. Silk and shells corrupted. The void seeks now to claim this land whole. These poor shells are only the beginning. Wing mold. False fly with a rune-etched shell, a torture mixed of soul and void, a cage within. A crude construction of my father's fallen domain. Only a fool believes that void can be fashioned to do their bidding. Yeah. Garpid. Slightless burrower that reacts violently to the sly sound. A common enough bug, though not to be underestimated. The acuteness of their other senses more than make up for their lack of vision. Immoba. Slow drifting bug with a heavy top shell. The bug reacts little to threats, even those that could claim its life. The poor creature has lived a life too calm and coddled. It would not fare well in the world beyond its walls. Squirrel, common crawler that lives beneath sand. This surface dweller is free of silk. Its nature remains its own. The monarch's influence must only have stretched below it. That's cool. So if they lived above it, it wouldn't have been. By the way, a long dormant centipede, awoken and enraged by Parlam's crumbling collapse. A monster in the classic form of Tales from Youth. Its slaying was done as much as my fierce traveling companion as by myself. Huge flea. Oversized bug briefly consumed by anger after its long time cage. I would not have guessed so large and marvelous a flea existed. I am pleased it saw sense before I had to strike a killing blow. Lost garment. Old night consumed by black thread. A tragic fate for a once honorable bug. Those void-soaked threads, their physical might is nothing compared to the corruption they wreak upon a soul. Mistress, Blade Maiden of the once renowned warrior sect, survived long beyond the rest of her order. I like her for her willingness to teach and her spirit still strong despite a long age spent solitary. She has my respect. Oh my god, we're so close. Widow, crazed fanatic able to guide Parloom's haunted silk by music played upon it. Her body seems a weaver's, but her mask has been forcibly removed and her own silk was bound and useless by heavy pins lodged through her spine. Person, an ancient weaver condemned for a transgression lost to time. This one task held a masterful talent to weave silk into blazing runes. Throughout my life I have seen wounds woven for many tasks. Was she the first to hone such skills? Phantom, mournful creature tasked alone to expel the Sirdar's choking refuge. Their talent with a long pin is unmatched. Though grey with age, their fanned forms suggest a being strung from silk, one who welcomes a decisive end in combat over a slow decline. Lace, manic fencer who delights in battle, a bug born entirely of thread. Much silk would have been needed to see her sustained, a fragile form of life, but life nonetheless. Grandmother silk, monarch of Parloom and the primal source of silk, heart of the haunting, long lulled to slumber, and despite desperate to wake, the higher being's threads stretch throughout Parloom, snaring its bugs and driving them to madness and discord. Lost Lace, silk spun child possessed by the void, to quell the mother's rage and see this kingdom safe, I will claim her back. This one the dark shall not take. And that is it. Ah. That was great. I am so happy to be done with that. Oh my god, so we're finally done with that. So we've done everything in the game. And so yeah, we've done it. This is the save file. What's this? But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. This is my last episode of Hollow Knight SILKSONG. Till next time, humans.